You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are being robbed. There is a silent chemical thief in your brain stealing your energy, your focus, and your future every single morning. Today, we catch him. Stop scrolling. This isn't just a video, it's an intervention. Let me ask you a question that might hurt a little. Why are you so tired? I don't mean physically tired. I don't mean the kind of tired you feel after running 10 miles or building a house with your bare hands. I mean that heavy, gray feeling in your chest when you wake up in the morning. That sense that your battery is draining even though you haven't done anything yet. You look at your phone, you look at your ceiling, and you feel stuck. You have dreams, you have plans, you have a list of things you want to achieve, but by 2 p.m., your brain feels like it is swimming in mud. You want to change, but you feel paralyzed. You might think you are lazy. You might think you lack discipline. You might even think you are broken. I am here to tell you the truth. You are not broken. You are being robbed. There is a silent thief in your life, stealing your energy, your focus, and your future, and you are opening the door for him every single day. Today, we are going to expose that thief. We are going to talk about the biology of your motivation and why your brain has stopped fighting for your dreams. This is not just a video. This is an intervention. Welcome to Glaze English. If you are ready to stop sleepwalking through your life and finally wake up, make sure you subscribe to our channel right now. We are building a community of people who are obsessed with growth, and we want you with us. Click that button and let's begin the surgery. The root of your problem is something I call fake rewards. Your brain is a brilliant machine designed for survival. For thousands of years, the rule was simple. If you want the reward, the food, the safety, the pleasure, you must do the work. You must hunt. You must build. You must fight. The dopamine, that chemical of happiness, was the prize for your effort. It was the fuel that kept you moving forward. But in the modern world, we have hacked the system. We have found cheat codes. We have found ways to get the reward without the work. We can get the feeling of success without actually succeeding. And when you give your brain the prize for free, it stops wanting to hunt. Why would you run through the jungle if someone delivers the meat to your mouth? This brings us to the first, and perhaps the most uncomfortable, energy leak in your life. We have to talk about masturbation control. I know people make jokes about this. They say it is normal. They say everyone does it. But look at the result. Biologically, the drive to reproduce is the most powerful force in nature. It is the raw nuclear energy of life. It is the aggression, the creativity, and the desire that pushes a human being to conquer their environment. When you engage in this habit, especially when you combine it with the endless library of adult content on your phone, you are short-circuiting your own battery. You are flooding your brain with a massive chemical reward that signals, mission accomplished, you have won. But you haven't won. You haven't built anything. You haven't connected with a real person. You are alone in a room, staring at a screen. Think of a lion in a zoo. Every day, the zookeeper throws a slab of meat in front of him. The lion eats, he sleeps, he gets heavy. Look into his eyes. There is no fire. There is no danger. Why? Because he doesn't have to hunt. He gets the reward without the fight. When you indulge in this habit daily, you become that zoo lion. You are teaching your brain that it doesn't need to be sharp. It doesn't need to be strong, because the ultimate pleasure is free. You are killing your own ambition. But that is not the only way we numb ourselves. We also do it with food. How many times have you opened the fridge not because you were hungry, but because you were sad, or bored, or lonely? We have turned food into a painkiller. This is the trap of binge eating. We try to fill a spiritual hole with physical matter. You feel empty inside, maybe a lack of purpose or connection. So you try to fill that void with pizza, chips, and sweets. But the void is in your soul, not your stomach. So you eat and eat, but you never feel full. You just feel heavy and guilty. And then there is the fuel itself, sugar. Sugar is the most socially accepted drug in the world. It is the silent assassin of your focus. When you eat high amounts of sugar, you send your blood glucose on a roller coaster. You get a spike of fake energy for 30 minutes, and then you crash. Your brain fills with fog. You can't concentrate on your English studies. You can't focus on your work. You feel sleepy and weak. You aren't losing focus because you are stupid. You are losing focus because you are poisoning your own engine. These three things, masturbation, binge eating, and sugar, are the fake rewards. They give you a quick hit of pleasure, but they steal your long-term power. They are the reason you feel tired. They are the reason you feel stuck. If you want to reclaim your life, you don't need to add more goals yet. You need to stop the bleeding. You need to close the leaks. Because only when you stop chasing the fake rewards will your brain become hungry enough to hunt for the real ones. Now that we have plugged the holes where your energy was leaking out, we have to face the next reality. A car with a full tank of gas is still useless if the engine is rusted shut. You have stopped the fake rewards, but you are probably still sitting on the edge of your bed, staring at the floor, waiting to feel motivated. You are waiting for a lightning bolt of energy to hit you so you can finally start your day. I need you to listen to me very carefully, because this is where most people fail. That lightning bolt is never coming. You are trying to think your way out of a bad mood, but you cannot fix a biological problem with a psychological solution. If your body is stagnant, your mind will be stagnant. If you want to change your thoughts, you have to move your vessel. This brings us to the most dangerous place in your life, your bedroom. It feels safe, doesn't it? It has your bed, your pillows, your chargers, and your Wi-Fi. It is warm and cozy. But if you stay there too long, it stops being a sanctuary and starts becoming a comfort prison. When you spend 24 hours inside four walls, your world shrinks. Your problems begin to look gigantic because they are the only things you see. You lose perspective. You forget that the world is big and your worries are small. There is a profound shift that happens in the human brain when sunlight hits your eyes and fresh air hits your lungs. I remember reading about a man in Japan who had shut himself away for months. He was convinced his life was over. He believed there was no hope left for him. One day, he forced himself to walk just to the corner store. He saw a child chasing a red balloon down the street. He felt the wind on his face. He saw a tree swaying. That small walk didn't solve his financial problems, but it solved his perspective problem. It reminded him that he was part of a living, breathing world, not just a prisoner of his own thoughts. You have to leave the house every single day. Go to the park. Walk around the block. Sit on a bench. Just get out of the box. Remind your body that it belongs to the earth, not to the internet. Once you are out, you have to deal with the rust. The human body is an engine designed to hunt, to climb, to run, and to carry. It was not designed to sit in a chair for 12 hours looking at a glowing rectangle. When you don't move, your system goes into power-saving mode. Your circulation slows down. Your digestion slows down. Your brain gets less oxygen. This is why you feel tired even when you haven't done anything difficult. Inactivity is actually exhausting. You don't need to become a bodybuilder. You don't need a gym membership. You need to elevate your heart rate. Do 20 push-ups right now. Go for a brisk walk. Dance in your kitchen like a crazy person. When you move, you release endorphins, natural painkillers. You shake the rust off the gears. You will find that after just 15 minutes of movement, the problem that seemed impossible to solve suddenly seems manageable. Motion creates emotion. And finally, if you really want to wake up, you have to do the one thing nobody wants to do. You have to face the cold shower. I know, you hate the idea. Why would you make yourself suffer? Because comfort is making you soft. Modern life is too easy. We have climate control, soft beds, and delivery food. We rarely face physical stress. As a result, our tolerance for stress, both physical and mental, has hit rock bottom. Taking a cold shower is not about hygiene. It is a mental training exercise. It is a daily initialization for your willpower. Every morning, you stand in front of that handle. You know it's going to be freezing. Your brain screams, "No, do it tomorrow. It's too early." And in that moment, you have a choice. Do you listen to the voice of weakness, or do you override it? When you turn that handle and step into the cold, you are winning the first battle of the day. You are training your brain to stay calm under shock. You are teaching yourself that you can handle discomfort. If you can handle the freezing water, you can handle the rude email. You can handle the traffic. You become less reactive and more resilient. You prove to yourself that you are the master of your own machine. We have woken up your body and shocked your system into alertness. But a sharp body is useless if it is carrying a dull mind. You might feel awake now, but look at how you spend your mental energy. We are living in a crisis of attention. The modern world is designed to fragment your focus. Between TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and endless notifications, your brain is being trained to have the attention span of a goldfish. You scroll, you swipe, you forget. You are losing the ability to hold a single thought for more than 60 seconds. You are becoming a cognitive skimmer, scanning everything but understanding nothing. If we want to reclaim your life, we have to send your brain to the gym. This brings us to a habit that might surprise you, and you might even resist it: doing math. Please do not click away. I know you aren't in school anymore. I know you have a calculator on your phone. But this is not about arithmetic. This is not about finding X or passing a test. This is about training your brain to stay calm when things get difficult. Life is nothing but a series of problems waiting to be solved. Financial problems, relationship problems, career problems. When these problems hit, most people react emotionally. They panic. They freeze. They say, "Oh no, this is a disaster." Their brain scatters like frightened birds. But there is another way to think. Imagine a person who faces a crisis and, instead of panicking, takes a deep breath. They ask, "Okay, what do we know? What are the variables? What is the first logical step?" That person wins in life. Doing just 15 minutes of simple math or logic puzzles every day trains you to be that person. It forces your brain to slow down. You cannot speed read a math problem. You have to focus. You have to be precise. You have to use logic over emotion. It builds a rationality muscle that will save you when the world gets chaotic. Once you have sharpened the processing power, you need to upgrade the software. This is where reading comes in. Most people stop learning the day they leave school. They let their minds starve. They feed their brains junk food, celebrity gossip, angry comments, and meme pages. Imagine if you ate garbage every day. Your body would get sick. The same is true for your mind. If you feed it garbage, your thoughts will be garbage. You need to read 10 pages of a real book every single day. I am not asking you to read a library. I am asking for 10 pages. It takes 20 minutes. But let's look at the math again. 10 pages a day is 300 pages a month. That is one full book every month. That is 12 life-changing books every year. Think about that. In 5 years, you will have read 60 books on leadership, psychology, history, and finance. You will be operating on a completely different level than your peers. Reading is how you download the wisdom of the greatest humans who ever lived directly into your brain. You can have the resilience of ancient philosophers or the strategy of modern billionaires right there in your hand. It is a quiet conversation with a mentor who is smarter than you. It is a contract you sign with your future self that says, "I value my mind enough to feed it something good today." Stop scrolling, pick up a book, and start the upgrade. But here is the catch. You can have the sharpest mind and the strongest body in the world. Yet if the voice inside your head is your enemy, you will still lose. We have spent this whole time building the vehicle, but now we have to talk about the driver. And for many of you, the driver is abusive. You are living with a bully who follows you to the bathroom, to work, and into your bed at night. This bully whispers things like, "You are stupid," "You are ugly," "You will never make it," and "Who do you think you are?" If a stranger on the street said these things to you, you would call the police. You would fight them. But because the voice is your own, you accept it as truth. We have to fix this immediately, with a habit that sounds soft, but is actually the foundation of all strength. Being kind to yourself. There is a massive misconception in our culture that tough love means hating yourself until you improve. We think shame is a good fuel source. We think, if I beat myself up, I will work harder. That is a lie. Shame is a dirty fuel. It burns hot for a moment, but it destroys the engine. You cannot hate yourself into a version of yourself that you love. Being kind to yourself is not about letting yourself off the hook. It is not about being lazy. It is about being a supportive coach rather than a tyrant. When you make a mistake, and you will make mistakes, you have two options. You can say, "I am such an idiot. I always fail," which leads to depression and quitting. Or you can say, "Okay, I messed up. Why did that happen? What can I learn? Let's try again." That second voice is the one that leads to growth. Imagine your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are seeds. If you plant weeds of insult every day, you will live in a jungle of anxiety. You have to actively choose to plant the flowers. You have to be on your own team. But how do you manage that voice when it gets too loud? How do you stop the chaos? You need a tool to sweep the mind. This brings us to the final habit, journaling. The human mind is a noisy place. It is a storm of unfinished thoughts, worries about the future, and regrets about the past. When you keep all that inside your head, it becomes a heavy load that crushes you. Journaling is simply the act of taking that chaos out of your brain and pinning it onto paper. It is self-therapy. When you write down, "I am feeling anxious because I have a deadline," you objectify the emotion. You separate you from the feeling. You can look at it on the paper and say, "Oh, it is just a deadline. I can handle that." Some of the greatest men in history, kings, inventors, generals, kept journals. They understood that you cannot analyze a thought while it is spinning around in your head. You have to capture it. You don't need to write a novel, just write the truth. What happened today? What are you afraid of? What are you grateful for? This habit clears your mental RAM. It helps you sleep better, think clearer, and finally understand who you really are. So, here we are at the end of the blueprint, and we have built a complete machine. A body that moves, a brain that solves problems, and a soul that is at peace. But I can feel your hesitation right now. I know exactly what your brain is saying. You are looking at this list of 10 habits and thinking, "This is too much. I can't do all of this. I have a job, I have a family, I am already tired." And you are absolutely right. If you try to wake up tomorrow morning and do all 10 of these things at once, you will fail by noon. You will get overwhelmed, you will beat yourself up, and you will quit. That is the old you talking, the one addicted to the all-or-nothing mentality. Here is the secret that nobody tells you about changing your life. You don't need to change everything to change everything. You just need to start with one thing. I want you to pick just one habit from this list. Maybe it is the cold shower because it scares you the most. Maybe it is reading 10 pages because you know your mind is starving. Maybe it is just leaving the house for 10 minutes. Pick the one that speaks to you. And make a contract with yourself. Commit to that one thing for 30 days. Make it non-negotiable. When you conquer one habit, something magical happens that is far more important than the habit itself. You start to change your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a lazy person who quits, and you start seeing yourself as a person who keeps their promises. That feeling of self-trust is the most valuable currency in the world. Once you trust yourself to do the small things, the big things become easy. you will naturally want to add the second habit, then the third. You are building a new version of yourself, brick by brick. You are not broken. You are simply running on bad software and low-quality fuel. The life you dream of, the energy, the confidence, the English fluency, the success, is waiting for you. But it is not going to be given to you. You have to build it. These habits are the tools. The map is in your hands now. Do not just close this video and go back to scrolling. Do not let this be another moment of fake motivation. Pick your brick. Start building today. This is not the end of the video. This is the beginning of your real life. I will see you on the path. We have walked a long road together today. We started by diagnosing the fake rewards that drain your battery, the cheap dopamine of masturbation, the emotional crutch of binge eating, and the focus-thieving nature of sugar. We realized that you cannot build a life on a foundation that is leaking energy. Then we moved to the physical machine, understanding that you cannot think your way out of a rut. You must move your way out. We committed to leaving the comfort prison of our bedrooms, shaking off the rust with movement, and facing the warrior's test of cold water. We didn't stop there. We went to the mental gym. We embraced the clarity of math to replace panic with logic, and we fed our minds the wisdom of great books instead of the junk food of social media. Finally, we turned inward to heal the driver of the vehicle. We learned that self-kindness is the fuel of resilience, and that journaling is the broom that sweeps the chaos from our minds. This is not just a list of 10 things to do. This is a blueprint for total reconstruction. You are the architect, not the victim. The deepest lesson here is not about cold showers or reading books. It is about agency. For too long, you have lived as a victim of your own biology. You let your urges drive the car. You let your environment dictate your mood. You let your past failures define your future identity. But when you choose to do something difficult, not because you have to, but because you decided to, you flip the script. You stop being a passenger in your own life, and you become the driver. The pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the highest form of self-love. It is you telling your future self, I love you enough to do the hard work today so you can have an easier life tomorrow. How to apply this now? Do not try to be a hero tomorrow morning. The all or nothing mindset is a trap. If you try to change everything at once, you will burn out. Instead, choose the path of the keystone habit. Pick just one habit from this list, the one that made you feel the most uncomfortable when I mentioned it. That discomfort is a compass pointing to exactly what you need. Commit to that one thing for the next 30 days. Protect it with your life. If you miss a day, don't shame yourself. Just get back on track immediately. When you conquer that one small territory, you will feel a surge of power. That power is the fuel for the next habit. A question for you. I want to hear from you now. We are building a community of people who are serious about change, and your voice matters. Which one habit from this list are you going to start with tomorrow, and why? Is it the cold shower? The journaling? the walking? Let me know in the comments below. I read them, and I want to know who is walking this path with me. If this video woke something up inside you, if you felt that spark of truth, please click that subscribe button. It tells me that this message is landing, and it gives me the fuel to keep creating deep, honest content for you. This is Glaze English. Stop waiting. Start building. I'll see you in the next one.